Hi guys, hello boys and girls, hello my dear fellow foreign English speakers, and welcome back to Robby's English Harmony video blog. Today I'm going to respond to one comment that I received 3 days ago, and I'm really sorry for not having responded to it sooner, but I just couldn't. I was really busy wrapping up the last Fluency Start chat sessions with my students, and then I had to go out with my work colleagues on Thursday night, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was Thursday night. And there were all sorts of other things, and eventually my inbox backlog reached something like 60 emails or thereabouts, and all the comments and everything. So I've been catching up on them today, and I decided to respond to this particular comment, not just in writing, but by recording a video, because I think it actually merits a video response. So let's stop beating around the bush and let's get down to business, and I'm going to read out the comment first of all. Obviously not the entire comment, but just the most important bits. So the actual video was, what happens when you don't learn English contextually, which is the last video I published. You may want to click on this link here if you haven't seen it yet. So what I'm doing in that video is I'm presenting an excerpt from a piece of writing, which is very difficult to read simply because those words are stuck together with no regard to natural collocations. Any language has words that collocate, that go together. And we cannot directly translate from our language to English and just use the very same words, because the resulting grammar constructs are going to be very unnatural, difficult to understand. It'll just sound weird, And here's what one of the commentators has to say, that he agrees with what I'm saying, with the message of importance of contextual learning. And here's, I'm going to quote him, right? I disagree with one aspect of your philosophy, which is strictly adhering to collocations. I think it hinders creativity and restricts thinking. Native speakers are the source of natural language. However, I don't think we should idolize them. For example, let's take the word incredibly. I don't think to check the words that collocate with it is necessary. I can blindly use the word incredibly with almost every adjective. Just pick an adjective off the top of your head and check it. You will almost always find that it was used by native speaker with incredibly. Not because that everything that they utter is natural, but just because they're not afraid to go wrong. Well, it kind of actually, just think about it. Just because they can use pretty much every word with the adverb incredibly doesn't necessarily mean that they're not collocating with that word. It simply means that the adverb incredibly has a lot of collocations, hundreds of collocations, right? But obviously I'm not saying that you have to learn them all off the top of your head. You don't have to memorize hundreds of collocations with the word incredibly. And I've never actually said that you cannot improvise. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite actually. Please click on this link, check out the video and the article, which is all about the importance of improvisation when speaking in English. And when you read it, when you watch the video, you will realize that I'm actually agreeing what you're saying there. And truth be told, I've never said that you always have to strictly adhere to collocations. I've never said that like everything you say, that 100% of your speech has to consist of collocations, right? It's impossible. When I speak, I improvise the whole time, and that's what pretty much everyone does. The whole point of collocations and phraseology and all that kind of stuff is, right, you have a good few of them acquired, and it kind of makes up the main structure of your speech, so to speak, right? The skeleton, if you like. And then the rest is up to yourself, You can improvise. Exactly, you can do that. By all means, go ahead and do it. I've never said that you have to strictly kind of analyze your speech with surgical precision and make sure that every single word collocates with the next one and so on and so forth, right? Because, if you think about it, if you do it that way, then you'll start analyzing your speech, which is actually going against my English harmony philosophy. You may want to click on this link and you'll see why analysis is totally detrimental to your speech. So basically, the message I'm trying to get across to you, my friends, and obviously to the person who commented, is that I've never actually said that you have to speak using collocations 100% of the time. You just have to make sure that most of the things you say are the ones used by native English speakers, but of course you can improvise on top of it, you know? And what he has to say further down in the comment is, since you live in an English-speaking country, I think this could be a good experiment on what a native speaker really thinks when common collocations are not used. Well, and then he says, by the way, I use strictly adhering and blindly use without checking them. I bet they sound okay to native speakers. Yeah, because they actually happen to be collocations. And I think that in reality, your level of English is very good, right? So you don't have to actually give it a conscious thought anymore. You may want to click on this link here, which is all about developing the so-called gut feeling for correct English. So I think what actually manifests here is your innate ability to feel the collocations and use them without thinking. But just because you don't consciously think about it when speaking doesn't mean that those collocations are not being used by you anymore. It just means that you can use them at such a subconscious level that you just forget about them altogether. You just speak and you think you're improvising, but in reality, you are mimicking native English speakers, you know? So the bottom line of this video is, of course, you are free to improvise. And that's what actually hear native English speakers doing all the time when I speak with people. Like, I oftentimes hear new constructs, new ways of saying things, and it's just natural. Language develops, you know, that's just a feature of the language itself, right? But most of the stuff that we say does consist of things that people say all the time, and they are phraseology, they are set phrases for a lesser or bigger degree, you know. Some phrases are only used a specific way, some phrases are less set, if you can say so. Basically, you can change the words around, but still some structures always remain there, you know. And if you start using words the way native speakers wouldn't use them, on a lot of occasions those constructs, those sentences would sound totally unnatural. So yeah, you have to improvise, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to speak in the first place. You know, there's always a certain degree of improvisation that goes into your speech. And yeah, that's about it. So I guess that I got the message across clearly enough for you to understand, my friends. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.